Hey, it's Rachel from the Life Facilitator, and I actually have just filmed this. Well, I did last night. I did an IG live, and my phone totally fritzed out. So here I am doing a recap. I'm going to be flipping through my 2021 memory planners. As you can see, I have a variety of formats. I have discbound, there's spiral in here, and this is a book-bound Heidi Swapp insert. So I'm going to get started, and I hope you will join me. So first up, we're going to look at January through March in this on these set of discs, and then I have April through June-ish in this one. And I have another flip through of this on my channel, on my YouTube channel, and but I thought I would just do it all together anyway. So I'm going to flip kind of quick, not quickly, but just not going through every detail. So if you have questions, please comment and leave the question in the comments. I would love to know what questions you have. So starting with January, so this is a Cocoa Daisy planner. It comes unbound. I received the unbound one, and I put on the cover, this is just like a piece of plastic. I think I got them on Amazon, and I believe I searched table mats, plastic table mats, and that's what came up. So cut this just to give it a little bit more oomph. And yeah, so I made a monthly divider using the kit for that month, the Cocoa Daisy kit. Here's the first week. I really wanted to play with shape and repetitive shape in this layout, and it's super fun. And yeah, so this, I also changed the layout quite a bit, where I put Monday over here, and then I have a sidebar bottom bar, if you will. Here's the next week, and I used the horizontal spread for this week. And I loved mixing up the horizontal with the vertical. I think what I'm realizing is I do sort of gravitate towards the horizontal layout for memory planning, not for my regular planning, but for memory planning. I don't know, I just feel a little bit more freedom with the horizontal. Here's another week. This is using a mix of items from Heidi Swapp. So her Stop the Blur kit printables, some of her kits, some of her collections, and I love it. It's super fun and funky and makes me happy. The next week, we went on a trip, a little mini trip, mini vacation, and I decided to do some pocket pages, some unpocket pages, and just tell the story in more than beyond just the weekly spread. So this only happened on the weekend, and that was all I documented for this particular week, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, I had just a lot of fun kind of playing with things from my stash, and just playing really, and also telling the story. So super fun. Love that spread. And then this is back to the vertical, and I kept the spread as is. So this is how the spread normally looks, with Monday starting here, Saturday and Sunday. And it's just fun to mix it up. I printed my journaling on sticker paper, clear sticker paper, and then added them around the page. This is super nice. This is a great option if you don't love your handwriting, or you just need something that's really streamlined. This is a great way to do it. And on to February. Another monthly divider, and into the weekly spreads. So this one, again, I switched to have Monday start here and have my bottom bar. And yeah, I love it. This week I went sort of off grid and just pulled a couple stories from the week. And I will say this memory planner is very much guided by what photos I have for the week. And so these were the photos I had, and so this is what I worked with and just had a lot of fun. I actually used some Traveler's Notebook sketches to inspire this spread. So on Sunday we went to the wharf, and so I did an extra little grid page just about, just highlighting some photos from that little trip, and I love it. It makes me happy. Are you seeing a trend? All of this makes me happy, and that's kind of the goal of the memory planner, is to document and to just make myself happy. Went back to a horizontal spread. I played with labels this week, did a lot of different things with labels, and did a pocket and a little flip. And I do love interactive elements, and as I continue with this process, I have been doing a lot more interactive elements, and it's a great way to both add more to the page, especially because this is a slightly smaller real estate that you're working with, size of the page, and so adding interactive elements is really nice, but also super cute, super fun. Who doesn't like an interactive element? Next week, went back to the vertical and kind of varied where the photo placement was, and I loved that. I loved the idea of just sort of kind of putting things a little off kilter. This was the day my grandmother passed, and I wanted to make sure to include her favorite colors of blue to commemorate that, and did a flip because, I had some things I wanted, some sort of more personal things I wanted to write, and making a flip allows you to do some hidden journaling. Used pocket cards. Love being able to use pocket cards in this format, either whether altering them or using them as is. On to March, and I did some just decorative pocket cards using elements from the March kit, and played around with, adding, creating a monthly calendar with the pocket card that came with the Cocoa Daisy kits. It was fun doing these little mini pocket pages. So here's my little cat sitting on my planner stuff, and used one of these snarky cards. I don't understand, but I also don't care, so it works out. Little cat gets a lot of time. If you don't have kids like I do, your cat gets a lot of time or space on the page. Okay, so this week we had some family in town, and so I just focused the whole documenting for that week on them being here, and did just a little mini layout with an extra photo that I had, which is always, it is really nice about the discs, is that you can do a lot more just sort of adding this stuff in. But I will tell you, you can do the same thing with a bound or spiral memory planner, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Another sort of cluster of memories for the week. So I focused on a couple events, and that was it, and kind of ignored the weekly template, and yeah, super fun. This is my birthday week, and so I just sort of focused the story on turning 37, and then this part of the week is about our weekend, and it was the beginning of March Madness, and that was an important part of the weekend, and so I made a tag pocket to talk about that. And then on to the next week. I had thought I was going to do a spread using the classic size inserts, and I ultimately did it elsewhere. I have documented this week elsewhere, and I decided not to go back and document it again. Instead, just had these little tip in, or add inserts to talk about the important parts of the week. And that is March. On to April. And so things I have definitely liked about this format. Obviously, it is incredibly customizable. The discs make it so easy. You can work in 1 month at a time. You can have all the months on one set of discs. You can split them up. You can add things really easily. You can take them out and work on a very flat surface. The discs are great. Super, super nice for memory planning. All right, April. So I did another sort of monthly divider. This week, not all we did, but the only thing that I had photos of really from this week was a trip out on Sunday, and so that's what I focused on, and that's fine. Your memory planner can document whatever it is that you want to document. The next week, I switched up the horizontal layout and made it vertical. However, I ended up not really sticking to it, and that's fine. Did a couple of noted events and then wrote about them, and then did a little mini album, and again just punched it and added and inserted it into the planner. Here is the next week, and just had fun playing with titling, and printed my journaling on paper and just added in, and I didn't even, this one, it's not even clear sticker paper, it's just like printer paper, because I think that's probably what I had available to me at the moment, and that's what I used. And again, switched up the layout, so that actually for this one I used one of the Cocoa Daisy stamp sets that has weekend, which is super nice because you can just have it all up top, and then the bottom is just open for whatever you want it to be. Played around with die cuts and rub-ons in this spread. Not a lot of photos this week, and that's all right. This week, date night, health, and then, my time on Saturday crafting, and then just a little bit about our Sunday, and used a bunch of stuff from Heidi Swapp. A mix. I love that I can just mix up her Stop the Blur kits and use them, throughout the months of memory keeping. They add on each other really nicely. This was washi, and then some of this is from her past collections too. Positive vibes. Yep. Another just pocket page, just cause. And on to May. I did a sort of week on one page on this side with some of the details of the week, and this is Cocoa Daisy stamping, which I loved. I loved creating these little plant clusters with the stamps from the kit, and then another pocket page on the back. I journaled on some postcards, and then did an unpocket page using Cocoa Daisy journal cards, and then Cocoa Daisy paper on the back. This paper is from the class of memory keeping classified kit, and I just unfold it and then back it with another paper, and it sits really nicely in the planner that way. And then here's a vertical week. Did switched it up again. The easiest way for me to switch up this layout is I'll use the weekly stickers from the planner add-on kit from Cocoa Daisy, and it just makes it super easy to switch it up. We were traveling this part of the week, and we were home for this part of the week, so it kind of worked out to kind of split the week that way. And then I altered the sort of placement of the photos, and I also changed the size of the photos. So I started using more square photos, 2x2. Well, actually they're a little bit less than 2x2, but this was really fun. For some reason, well, and you get a little bit more in the column, which is nice. So definitely, I definitely enjoy the 2x2 photo. And then this week is like a patchwork recap, which my friend Natasha, who inspired this spread because she did something similar. So the idea is that you're sort of ignoring the days altogether and you're just doing kind of a full-on recap. And this is our recap of our trip to Memphis, and I love it. It makes me so happy. And it was really easy to put together because it's a formula. You've got photo, journaling, decorative element, photo, journaling, decorative element, photo, journaling underneath, another photo. The one exception, maybe down here too. But you get the idea. Photo, journaling, decorative element, photo, journaling, decorative element. So it was really fun to put this together, and it was also really fast. Next up, I have the end of our trip and sort of our weekend adventures, and did a grid layout on the back of the sort of monthly, the last page of the month. And then had one extra photo, so I did a very small, very simple little layout with it. June's a hot mess. I'm just going to put it out there. June was the one month that I got off my rhythm and like never really found my way back. So it started great. We're starting good. Look at that. Coming back from our trip from Memphis, sort of a day log of some time we spent with family in Destin, and then an unpocket page using Cocoa Daisy pocket cards and papers and things. And truly, like, that's pretty much, I think I have one more week of June that I finished, which is this one. Did a flip up, lots of photos for one day here, nothing really for the rest of the week. And then on the weekend, I had like a few photos and did some more sort of unpocket paging, gridding. And I love it. It makes me, it works for me. It's still getting all of my kind of highlights of the week down and lowlights. Here's a low light. Just a bummer of a day there. And then the rest of this is unfinished. And I will go back. I am committed to going back and finishing these weeks. And I have a kind of a new energy to do so. And so far I have basically like 2 weeks, maybe 3 of the year that I have not finished, which honestly is way better than previous years. And so after 6 months in discs, I decide, you know what, let's change it up. And I switched to the spiral Cocoa Daisy planner. And I have it in a print Prussian cover with a old Recollections planner cover on top. And I actually really enjoyed this style. Something about it being bound helped it feel more like secure. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I kept my photos in a little plastic sleeve that I took from a other Michael's Recollections spiral planner. July. So we're into July and using Heidi Swapp items here. A little interactive element, another little interactive element, if I can pull it up. So fun. And yeah, I did not really keep to the grid, the columns, and as we can tell by now, that is okay with me. On to the next week, I switched to the horizontal and I just taped the pages together. So horizontal for this week, I did a lot of large titles using alpha stickers and stamps, and that was really fun to play around with. Didn't have a whole lot of like photos for the week, and so it was fun to fill space with words. Sick this whole week. Again, was having fun with alphas and stamping and just, yeah. I mean, this was a bummer of a week, but it's documented and it looks pretty, so that's nice. This whole time was our trip to Iowa, and I have done part of that. It's literally like the end of our trip I have documented, but I still have the rest of that. So that's one more week that needs to be documented. But I have the photos, and I just need to put them on the page. I print, and I'll just stop for a second there. I print 90% of my photos from my home printer. I use the iPhoto on my laptop, use a custom print, and print, to whatever size I need. And I'm able to print quite a few photos onto one page, like letter size page. August, love this week. This is probably one of my faves. I love the colors. I love that the colors all like worked really well together, surprisingly. This is stuff from Heidi Swapp, so stamping and printables and other little elements. Yep, love this week. I also loved doing the sort of sidebar on the side. It worked out great because I had these horizontal photos that worked really nicely. And for this one, I actually did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little journaling in this cute little pocket. Super fun. Unpocket page, which I loved this spread as well. I loved just sort of filling the page with only a few photos and like these really gorgeous pocket cards. And yeah, love it. What do you know? It makes me happy. Again, I don't know what it is about the spiral, but it like calls to me to like add things to the pages, like to just put things on top of the pages. And so here I pasted in a insert from Happy Planner, trimmed it down a little bit, and then adhered in a dot grid page, and then made a little grid layout on this side. And it's super fun and just kind of different, and I love it. Back to the vertical spread, and this collection from Cocoa Daisy is definitely one of my favorites from 2021. This was the Doodles and Dashes collection, and yeah, just super fun layout. And on to September. September was a bit bananas, and I decided to start actually utilizing the monthly spread in order to keep track of photos. So a lot of these notes are connected to photos that I took. So end of August into September, did a big photo on this side, and then sort of stuck to the columns on this side, and did a mix of Cocoa Daisy and Heidi Swapp items. Another patchwork recap and just snapshots of September, because the month was bonkers. It was an absolutely bonkers month, and I'd already printed the photos, and I wanted to document just some of the little things that happened in the month. I will always remember the big things that happened this month. And so just getting a couple of the little things down made me really happy, and also felt like, okay, I have documented September. We're done. You're done. And then October through December, I'm in the the Heidi Swapp insert. So just a recap on using the spiral. I actually really liked it. If I wasn't using the Heidi Swapp insert, I actually feel like I would be in the spiral. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is necessarily, other than the pages felt super secure on the ring, on the spiral. And I don't know, I felt a lot more freedom to just sort of work outside of the page and then add things in. I think maybe that's part of it, is I did a lot of like working, just sort of doing the work of these pages and then just sort of slapping them in. So almost, the customization of a discbound just with tape. So anyway, really liked this, and is a really great option for memory planning. And then last but not least, my most successful planner or format for 2021 is my Heidi Swapp planner insert. This cover is from Hunky Dory, and she makes covers that are specifically designed for the storyline chapter size inserts. I should also mention, all of these are roughly the same size. So we've got basically a 7 by 8 and a quarter, it's roughly a 7 by 9 size for all of these inserts. So it is smaller than letter size, smaller than a 12 by 12 scrapbook, but it is bigger than a 6 by 8, just barely. But I don't know, the size is really nice. All right, so I love this cover because I can chunk all my photos and things on the side here. And then I'm going to take this insert out just because it'll be easier to flip through. Another note about these inserts, if you're looking for a cover, you can get a cover like this. Or if you're like me and you have quite a few Carpe Diem A5 ring bound covers, you can take those rings out, and these inserts work really nicely inside a Carpe Diem cover. So this is a lovely option, especially if you're using the Heidi Swapp insert that has the 3 months in the front and then the weeks in the back. It works really nicely in something like this. So just an option. I know people often it is a little weird to just have the insert kind of free for all, like you kind of want something to protect it. And so you can try A5 D-ringed binders, or maybe get something like this that is like custom made for the inserts. Okay, moving on. All right, so this is October through December. I continued to write down in the monthly the photos that go with the week, for the most part. And didn't do a whole lot of other decorating. That's okay with me. You can't decorate it all. And I also added the week numbers. This helped me know what weeks I still needed to work on. So in my planner, I had a running list of the week numbers, and once I finished a week, I would check it off in my planner. Unpocket page to start things off. So this is mostly Cocoa Daisy items. I covered the top with some paper, and I had one photo for this week. It was end of September into October, and so but it was an important photo and an important moment. Did a little currently of what we were watching. And yeah, this week is a hodgepodge of Heidi Swapp Stop the Blur items and things from her previous collections, and then things from my stash too. I think it's important that we are not just using the newest stuff, that you kind of dig into your stash and use things that you already have on hand. Another sort of stash busting slash Heidi Swapp Stop the Blur items. So like, I've been holding on to this die cut for years. It's a Reset Girl die cut. And finally I was like, Rach, you got to use that or let it go. And so I put it on the page. I know, very exciting. Okay, and did kind of that simple setup of photo, decorative element, journaling for the most part. On to the next week. Big weekend. We were moving. Well, our stuff was moving this weekend. And so did some smaller photos to document that, and then some journaling. And then the rest of the week was packing, so I didn't have a lot of other things to mention, except for, does anyone else have like 24 unmatching forks in their homes? Yeah, we do. So yeah. Oh, I like this one too. This was a printable from Heidi Swapp, and I think it was a printable. And I was overthinking all the things, so I did want to document that. Next week, we were camping out in our place, and again, just a real simple photo, decorative journaling, and I really like having this as part of my options for documenting weeks. And I also had gone ahead and for October, I went ahead and stamped the dates for the weeks. And other than this week, I tried to use tone on tone, which was fun. And then into November, did a little flip here for some hidden journaling. And used kind of, at this point, we are living in a hotel for November. And so I had very limited supplies to work with. I think I had the current Cocoa Daisy kit and then my Heidi Swapp Stop the Blur items. So that's what I had to work with, and that was fine. And it was great to sort of limit my supplies and use what I had. This one I did using Cocoa Daisy's Winter Twilight collection, and as you see, I just adhered the page into the insert. I covered the back of the page with white paper just to sort of cover a little bit of that yellow. But oh my gosh, y'all, this was when I figured out I could do this, I was really excited, and I will definitely be doing this for 2022. I love this spread, super fun. Again, started getting really excited about covering and sort of doing my own thing. So just did a bunch of stamping on this side with photos and very simple decoration. And then on this side, I went bananas with decoration. I traced this little pocket, this little flip, and then stamped around the border of it, and then adhered the flip on top. Used 2 pocket cards for the bottom. Super love this spread. This is our moving to DC week, and it was kind of there was a lot going on this week, but I absolutely love this week in my planner. It makes me just so happy looking back at it. I did some flips. We had a hilarious cross half the country journey with our cat in our car, and had to document that. Have a little slider that is, it comes out, it's just a little tricky. And then did just kind of a whole chunk of journaling of just sort of what I was thinking about at that moment. And mostly about how we moved to DC 10 years ago, and now we're back. And it just, and it feels like a very full circle experience, and grateful, and just a lot of gratitude. This week is with Elegance Blooms collection from Cocoa Daisy, and I used the packaging from like I think probably the die cuts to make this little pocket, and did a flip here for my studio setup, because first things priorities, and then another flip here. Really love this week. And then another winter twilight with some flips, and just sort of like, this is very, if you watch any of Jamie Pate's videos, this is very Jamie Pate inspired. And then my journaling over here. And then little flip here, wrote down the gifts that John and I gave each other for Christmas, which was fun. And used the packaging from this just absolutely scrumptious chocolate that he gave me in my planner, which I really wanted to do. And then this is like first half of the week, and then this is like the beginning of our like holiday travel. So I wanted to really separate this. And so, what do you know? It's a little insert that I just adhered in. I scored it and adhered it right into the insert. I could have moved it a little closer to the binding, but I actually wanted to cover the days of the week, because that didn't matter to me for the rest of sort of telling this story. And then inside, I have a little like memory keeping spread, which is just makes me just giddy. Love this. I documenting our 10-year anniversary and a surprise celebration my parents put on for us, which was so sweet. And then Christmas with my family, and then on to the next week. So did a lot more like not functional, but like no photo documenting on this side. And then looky here, we've got another insert add in, and this one, I mean, it can't get much simpler than this. This is masking tape. I literally masking taped this clear packaging. Remember that packaging I was talking about? This is from a Cocoa Daisy. I'm pretty sure like alphas came in here. And I made a giant tag. And this is to talk about our trip to John's family's Christmas. And and then did some documenting about the nieces and nephews on this side, and then did a grid layout of sort of kind of the grand overview of of Christmas together. Did a little pocket here, and super fun. Really love this spread, and so simple. I mean, I have like a couple. This is a printable from Heidi Swapp, paper from Cocoa Daisy, just a couple little embellishments, and done. Super fast, but also definitely documents the moment. And then here is the following week. So this is the last week of 2021. And on this side, I did just some stamping, did some layered stamping, and played with some colors and placement, and did a kind of a big blotch of journaling about, coming home. And I love this. And so what do you know? Another insert. This one is attached to the top, and it's meant to separate kind of this page from this page. And so I had just 2 pocket cards that I added to this piece of vellum. And then on the inside, I have our New Year's Eve night, and did a few flips, which took some work because I printed all of these photos on one sheet and made slits in the top to sort of add these little flips to. Not the easiest way to do it, and then I adhered the whole thing onto the page. Certainly not the easiest way to do this, but it is done, and I love it. And so that's it. That's 2021 for the most part, like aside from a couple weeks that I still need to finish. And I'm super excited about 2022 and memory planning. And I'm also excited to hear what you all would like to see and what questions you have, and also what are your hiccups? Like, what are your hang-ups for memory planning, and how can I help you get your memory planner started? And yeah, so leave any comments below, any questions you have, and I'm happy to answer them. And tell me if you have any videos you'd like to see when it comes to memory planning, and I will work on that. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.